Brave. Standard type. Hey, what's up again, everybody? Robert 184, 2 R's, 2 B's, as always, gundam.tk. And I'm here today to take a look at the Brave Standard test type from the high-grade 00 line from the movie Gundam 00 Awakening of the Trailblazer. This went on sale in November 2010. It sells for 1,600 Japanese yen, and it's number 72 in the series, made by Bandai. This isn't going to be a full review per se, because pretty much everything I can say about this I already said in my review of the high-grade Brave Commander type, and of course that's piloted by Graham Aker. So you can check out its full review for the posability, pros and cons, etc. But right now let's take a look at the differences between the two of them. Quick look around the box. We're going to have a height here of 20.2 meters and then some information about the development of the suit. You're going to have a front shot, and of course the most noticeable difference is that this is green as opposed to Graham's blue one. There you can see that there's a whole fleet of them, and then we have a rear shot, and then of course it also transforms from the stand position, which is what they call the MS, into its cruise position, and there it is from the front and back. And the pilots here are the Soul Braves, and it shows all 6 of them, and we get a little bit more information about them inside. On the other side, we're going to have the action shots, and the head is looking pretty good there. Then it's going to show off some of the features, like how in the transformation you spin that out, and when you put this into the cruise position, how you attach an extra part that turns into some sort of a drive or GN condenser, it says there. Then you're going to have the mode change here between the cruise position and when it's in its robot form or its mobile suit. It's looking pretty good. You're also able to change the handles here, and of course the hand is going to be a little bit different from Graham's. Also showing off a lot of the posability factors, including the fact that it's got a swing out knife down there. And over here we're going to have the included stand, which has 2 different attachments. The head, you can put the energy cable in the back, and there it is, completely unpainted, as if you just put it together straight out of the box. The manual is very similar to the Commander type. The big interesting thing for me though was reading about, it actually gives you a little profile of each of the pilots, their names, where they were from, like their old countries before it became the one world government here. On the back you have some quotes from the movie and a scene from the movie as they all fly into action, and the evolution from all the way back at the very beginning, right after the high-grade Exia came out. We have the Union flag. Then you're going to have the over flag, the AEU enact. Here we have the demonstration color version. And then we have Ali Al-Sarsh's AEU enact custom. And all of these were combined to turn into this kind of technology that was used in the movie. When I looked at the plates, there were a lot more changes than I expected. So the face guard, the gray shield, is in a different position here on the plate because it's different. Here we also have the white parts are offset. It's interesting for me to take a look at these plates because it gives you an idea of how Bandai designed this kit and some of the other ones. So they would have designed this whole thing as just one plate, and if you got these plates printed, they would have given you the ability to build both sets. But what they do then is they just cut out the parts that you don't need for these, and then this way they save money on plastic. There's not a lot of waste, and you're still getting 2 somewhat unique suits. Here's the B plate, again just showing that this part has been replaced with this part. Minor changes at the bottom of the C plate and the D plate. But what's more interesting is seeing how this affects the actual MS. Here are the 2 Braves side by side, and the most noticeable feature is that the weapons are in the opposite hand, and that's because Graham is left-handed. But on the bottom of these rifles, you're able to put the handle in either way, so you can have both of these use the same hand if you so chose. What accounts for most of the changes though in the plates is the simple fact that the standard type just has shorter parts here attached on to the back hips. And Graham's, of course, are just longer, but outside of that, they're similar in design, except for one other important point. And that is the drives, where the standard type is only going to have 1 triangular drive, very reminiscent, of course, of the 00 Gundam, whereas Graham is going to have a white plug cap, and where this one has 2 white plug caps down here on the binders, Graham is going to have the 2 triangular drives. On the head, Graham is going to have the longer antennas, which is always suitable for a bad guy commander. And there's another difference, just the way these parts are put together down here, they're sculpted quite differently. And in between this gold clear part, which is on top of a silver sticker, there's a blue part so that this ear and this ear, or the antennas, are actually attached together and put on. On the regular type, again, you'll notice that the face is a little less distinct down here at the bottom, and that these antennas are actually different lengths if you look at them straight on. And they are attached on sort of like earmuffs here on the left and right side, and there's no separation there between the mask and the top of the head. Don't forget that you can check out the Commander review to see this the transformation and all the pros and cons and the posability. But otherwise, I was pretty happy with this one, and so as a result, I'm happy with this one, because in terms of variants, I don't usually build all that many. But in this case, I'm really crazy about collecting all of the 00 movie kits, so I wanted to add a green one to my shelf to go along with Graham's. But I was a little disappointed in a couple of things. When I took the plates out, the first thing I did was compare them, and I said, wow, because there are so many differences, like a quarter of the plates sometimes are changed, I thought there might be some very major differences, but ultimately in the end, all of those changes in the plates are just to change these side binders in length, so you have longer ones and shorter ones. So I thought they could have done a little bit more. And other things like the fact that you have these, and these were done on separate plates, all they had to do was just give you two big a triangle one and tell you not to use it for Graham's, and give you two triangle ones for this one and tell you not to use it on the regular type. I don't really know if they had to give you remake the plates just for that. But otherwise, the difference in the heads for me is probably the most important thing, because Graham's really comes across as being sharper and more stylistic, which the Commander's types going back to Char Zaku 2 always should, and the Brave really comes across as just looking like an old grunt flag suit. This is also a chance to talk about variations in general, because I know that there are some people who love them and some people who hate them. So I'll just throw in my 2 cents, and remember this is an opinion only. But for me, Gundam has always had color variants going back to the Zaku 2 and Char Zaku 2, with a tiny little variation. And by having that tiny little variation, well, it made the Commander stand out story-wise. And of course, the toys, they were able to sell twice as many toys without having to incur a whole bunch of extra costs. So I never am angry at Bandai when they put out variations. Of course, it's up to us, the consumers, to decide whether we like the characters. If you like the green Zaku, buy that one. If you like Char's, get the red one. And if you like both, buy them both. And this is a case where the Brave, for me, it's not worth buying for the separate mold, but because I did like the characters enough and I enjoyed the movie enough, I wanted to go out and spend the extra money and give Bandai a little extra spending money come financial year end. That about wraps up my comparison here of the Brave Standard test type and the Brave Commander test type, but why don't you let me know what you think about the MS, the video, or the comments here, or anything with a comment down below or on my front page. As always, everybody, Robert184, gundam.tk. You know, there's a lot more movie kits I'd like to get my hands on, so I hope that they keep coming, and if they do, I will keep buying. As always, everybody, thanks for watching. See you next time. Gotta tell ya, I didn't really expect to be here. I don't know what you're complaining about. At least you've got your whole body.